It's live from Israel with Avi Lipkin, founder of the Baba Block Party. Incredible man, beloved all over the world, international speaker, author, Sovietologist, and so much more. Just an incredible man. I'm proud to call friend. How you doing there, Avi?
Everything fantastic. Praise God.
Well, you know what? To hear that everything's fantastic coming right there from Israel is quite a deal. And we know that we're not going to hear what's really going on in the world, thanks to BlackRock and Vanguard, who own simply everything. But the truth is, God is in control. He owns the earth, the heaven and the earth. Earth is his footstool, and he has a plan. And Israel has always been a part of that plan. And Avi, being a child of Israel, is a part of that plan. I'm just happy that I know you, Avi, and you're looking good, my man.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's
I'm always
happening boots on the ground right now in Israel?
well. I'm always saying I'm always hoping to come to back to the States and come back to Texas. You know, Texas is my adopted home, and I really want to come back and be do shows with you and be with people and go to the churches that love me and the groups that love me. But you know, they were saying in the news here that war was going to break out with Lebanon middle of June.
Right.
And then our defense minister traveled to the States, and all of a sudden, nothing, which is obviously pressure from Washington, as President Biden said, don't. So the idea was don't start a war with Lebanon. Um, we're looking at a number of factors all working together or against each other or intertwining. And you know, it says in the Bible, Genesis 12:3, I will bless those who bless you, Israel, and I will curse those who curse you, Israel. And what we see happening is that Lebanon, for example, was always described as the Switzerland of the Middle East. Lebanon is a beautiful country. It has mountains and it has snow and it has beautiful cedar trees and it has beaches and it was it was it was created to give the Christians who speak Arabic a homeland in the Middle East.
It was called the Paris of the Middle East at one time as well.
Yeah, I heard Switzerland, but my point is
Wow.
that Hezbollah took it over and destroyed it.
Yeah.
This is what Islam does. Wherever Islam goes, it destroys anything good that's there. Israel now faces a situation where 70,000 of our Israeli citizens have been displaced from their homes because of Hezbollah bombings and terrorism, and now they are refugees in Israel. We have them actually in hotels. Our people are taken care of, but it's horrible to be in a 2 by 3 yard hotel room with 2, 3 children and no kitchen and no ability to lead a normal life. This has been going on for 9 months now.
Wow.
You see, if Lebanon played ball with Israel, there used to be a joke, Lebanon would be the second country to make peace with Israel. And meanwhile, Israel has made peace with 7 Arab countries, but Lebanon cannot make peace with Israel because Hezbollah and Iran won't let them. And so
Wow.
today, the Lebanese currency is worthless. People are starving. The situation is horrible in Lebanon. And, I don't want to be boastful, but Israel could really save Lebanon and put it on its feet, but it has to destroy Hezbollah. Hezbollah is Shiite, and the primary populations in Lebanon are Christians, Sunni, and Druze. But they are totally, totally cowed by the Hezbollah. So we were talking about war in mid-June. Then Gallant, our defense minister, came back and, well, guess what? We cannot go to war. U.S. won't let us. And now we're in the middle of July, and Netanyahu, our prime minister, is going to the States to speak in Congress on the 24th of July, another 3 weeks. And he's going to say some really tough things. I don't know if Trump will be very happy about it, but will the war break out before the 24th of July, which is in 3 weeks, or will it break out after the 24th of July? Are we talking about a war that could happen perhaps only in November, December, around the election time? And an interesting thing is that Biden has been boycotting Netanyahu for 2 years, and now all of a sudden Biden is dying for Netanyahu to come to the White House and allow Biden to show off, that Netanyahu is with him.
Little too little, too late. The gig is out. The quote unquote debate, which was no debate at all. It was elder abuse. Trump can run laps around Biden. They're around the same age, and Mick Jagger is older than both of them, can run down the stage as fast as a 25-year-old. It's not a matter of age. It's a matter of mental decline. And it's painfully clear to the world, jokingly clear, unfortunately. I would never laugh at someone's demise, but there's only so much. Now Jill's on the campaign trail. I think she thinks she's president, and nobody cares. So all that to say is
she would probably do a better job than her husband.
Well, I think I think the liberal left young people that are steering her have been pretty much operating through her, and she through her husband, and doesn't seem to be much debate about that. But it's just very interesting. What in regards to the quote unquote debate, what has the talk been among Israelis, if you've heard?
Well, we are watching very closely, and as you probably know, the Israeli TV, Israeli media, very faithfully represents the American media. We have one nationalist TV channel and 3 left-wing TV channels. They all report the debate. They all report the American politics. So we're very, very tuned into what's going on in the States. We'll have to see. But what really concerns us the most is what will Biden do if Israel is attacked or attacks Lebanon, and what happens if Iran attacks Israel? Because Iran has said if Israel attacks Hezbollah in Lebanon, Iran will attack us. And then I ask you the following question, a rhetorical question: and what happens when the Chinese invade Taiwan? Because the Chinese say, well, Biden is not functioning. It's our opportunity to take Taiwan. And, will America do anything about it? And the problem with that is, if America is not an ally to Israel, and if America is not an ally to Taiwan, what should the Saudis say? The Saudis are now distancing themselves from Biden because they say he's not a leader you can rely upon. So, we're watching it here too. Meanwhile, we continue pounding the Hamas in Gaza. And I think we're still ready at any moment to attack Lebanon.
Always on the ready. And of course, Americans individually need to be as well, from their own quote unquote leadership. Never seen days like this before, and never hope to see them again. But we know that we will. You mentioned Netanyahu's words. His words would be welcomed by Trump. Is the hope among Israelis anywhere near the hope among England citizens in London? And they're having Trump rallies in England. It seems the whole world is wanting not only a change from the cabal, but they're wanting a change in favor of Trump. What's the mood there?
Well, listen, I voted twice for Trump, and my son voted twice for Trump, and Trump received 100,000 absentee ballots from Israelis.
Right.
And they weren't fake. Then I read something about in Pennsylvania, I think it was the state of Pennsylvania sent out 1.8 million ballots. They got back 2.8 million ballots. So someone's playing games. In what is it, Michigan? I think it's, or Wisconsin, or Minnesota.
All I have to say is a blue state. We got it. You know, it's all coordinated with the blue
The
states.
blue states, uh, um, they made an alliance. You know, the Muslims made an alliance with the LGBT people, who were going around waving their LGBT flags. You know, the rainbow flags.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the Muslims won the elections, they told the LGBT to go to hell.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
yeah. Of course.
useful idiots. And you know what the Muslims do to the LGBT? They throw them off the top floor of
Oh,
some
they're the first ones thrown from the roofs. You know, and you know, I think at some point though we talk about the inept left, but who's addressing the universities that are poisoning the minds of these children, teaching this Marxist agenda? Who is? I know that they're paid millions, be it from the Muslims. You know, how many attempted terror attacks were not the president of a Muslim society in an American university? You know, and of course the Chinese, you know, the well-funded Confucius centers all among America universities, you know, paying millions of dollars. So they get millions from the government to subvert the Constitution, millions from China, millions from Muslim countries. At what point do we cut the head off the snake, you know, on the local level and confront these, you know, these Marxist professors? I mean, it's been a long-standing joke that, you know, just keep getting degrees and never get a job, just become a professor. Most of these guys have never held a job. And I was an adjunct professor 24 years ago. I saw how these professors bully their kids. I challenged one to a debate, and of course he refused. You know, they're bullies, they're Marxists. You know, what point do we address that? Does anybody ever talk about that? I don't think so.
No, they listen here in Israel in our news. We're I think it's fair to say we have very in-depth news,
Okay.
and I also wrote about it in my second book, Christian Revival for Israel's Survival. That the way to conquer America is to buy out the universities. In other words, every university they have a budget for $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ball game figure. And you got 1,000 universities. Give it 20, 30, 40 years, and you have 500 students per university per student year. So it's 2,000 in 4 years. These Muslim kids come to America, marry American girls, have children, get citizenship, bring their families. Cities become beholden to the Islamic money. And this is something that's been going on for at least 50 years. And yet most Americans are oblivious. And you have to remember, your banks, your media, your politicians, universities, everything runs on Islamic dollars.
And people don't realize that. They don't realize that. You know, they I'd be curious to know the connection there with Vanguard and BlackRock that seem to own most of the shares in every industry. But you know, with all that said, their agendas are dark. You know, the president. There's footage that is leaked out of the president of Vanguard talking about forced behaviors. That was 2617. If they don't align with our ideology and adhere to the forced behaviors, they'll lose money. That's why you saw people like Dick's Sporting Goods and Target, and the list goes on and on. Even in the NFL, people committing business suicide, you know, to keep their investments to push this Marxist LGBTQ, and that's what it is. You know, it's part of the Communist Manifesto, people, to feminize America, and it works. Unfortunately, I need to get her name. There's she's a transgender LGBT liberal who is shunned by her own people because she can prove according to her sources, that the demise of every civilization happened shortly after they embraced transgenderism. So it's no secret what's going on here. Perhaps more fact than speculation. People may be surprised to discover, but it is what it is, and that is why it's very interesting. There is this conspiracy theory that's propagated among the left now called Agenda 2025, where they're going to do away with all the freedom. It's no one buys it. They have no problem pushing their poison upon our children. I made a statement on the 1st of June. I said, your flag is your business, but you bring it near my kids, it becomes my business. And that's the attitude I think the world is beginning to take. So look where that ideology got us, folks. Look where silence got us. Look where compliance in the pulpit got us. Not all, but most. These rock stars like this Tom Cruise wannabe, one of the largest churches in America, can't speak against evil, can't speak against the worship of Moloch, can't speak against transgenderism or abomination. Shame on you. And so, that's why it's important, Avi, that we give rise to voices like ours and come together and speak the truth, with no dollars attached. But it does take money to do things. I don't need your money. But Avi hasn't been able to come to America, folks, because of this war, well funded by the Biden administration through Iran. And, so you need to go to biblicalalliance.com, and support the work. Avi, you continue to write, you continue to teach and speak. And we're on YouTube. Are people able to find these Zooms where you're also speaking and teaching as well?
YouTube, Avi Lipkin. YouTube, Avi Lipkin.
It doesn't get more simple than that. Now, I'm pleasantly surprised that you haven't been censored by the frothing out the mouth, anti-Israeli, anti-everything decent and good platform. But hey, I just now subscribed, folks. Just did that in 10 seconds. If you go to Avi Lipkin on YouTube, you'll be able to see him as well. And you got a good list of subscribers there, Avi. We need to start referring to that as well. So for those who are awakening to the need to support Israel, like the Bible tells us to, how would you encourage people in starting this journey? A lot of people are waking up to the fact that the Bible is true. I'd rather have someone who hasn't been poisoned by religion, who's an honest new seeker with an open heart. Someone famous once said, to enter the kingdom of God, you must have the faith of a child. What are some of the first steps for people that are waking up and realizing they need to support Israel from America?
Well, before you go to prayer, and prayer avails much, but before you go to prayer, you've got to get educated. I don't mean you personally, because you're at the top already, but I'm talking about people.
I have a lot more to learn. I know. I'm always learning. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So I've written books. There are many other books. My books are available on biblicalalliance.com. I've got hundreds, I believe hundreds, if not thousands of YouTubes. And I think one of the reasons I'm not censored is because I don't attack the other systems. I talk about God's system, and I talk about those who are attacking God's system, which is Christianity, and of course Judaism. So if people learn, then they know how to pray, and if people learn how to pray and they learn, then they can become active to support all the different groups that are. And I'm not talking just about myself. I'm talking about many different groups that are doing very valuable work. The more people study, the more they discover the different groups. And I have to ask a hypothetical or rhetorical question. Well, let's say we all believe in God. Okay, we all know there's a battle between God and the devil.
Right.
We all know that God wins the battle against the devil. We
Right.
all know that all human beings have to make a choice. Are we with God or are we with the devil?
Right.
All these things come together much more easily when you know the nature of the beast and God's holy and beautiful nature for all of us. And this is not just about Israel. This is about America also. This is about Judeo-Christian Western civilization and democracy. That's what I've been saying all along.
Right.
And so, I believe that Israel and America have a common destiny, and it's Judeo-Christian Western civilization and democracy. So I'm just saying, if people get educated, if people become aware, I don't want to just do promotion for Fox News, but you have Fox News, you have One America, the OAN, you have Newsmax. There are many, many sites that give wonderful news information, and I've heard it so many times. We present the facts, and you make the decision. But
I wish that were so.
people with normal brains should be able then to make the decisions, and that's what it's all about, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to influence anyone's religion or anyone's faith. I go under the assumption that everybody has the faith already, and I'm just arming all of you with the weapons to defend the faith, to defend God, to defend America, to defend Israel.
Like Dragnet, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts.
Yeah.
Well, we are so grateful for you, Avi.
Thank you. Likewise. I miss you very much. I wish I could just get on the plane and come out to Odessa and chew the fat with you guys.
Well, it's going to be a wonderful reunion
when it happens.
We need to have a party just for that, and we're looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. I know that biblicalalliance.com, I'm there right now, and folks, you can go there as well. biblicalalliance.com. And I don't know if there's been an adjustment yet. If you can't do more than 100 at a time, then just go back several different times if you can. Of course, you can go to Chase Bank as well. Dennis Avi Lipkin, and be sure and shoot an email to Avi if you do that.
If people want the information, have them send me an email through Biblical Alliance. I'll give them the bank account number.
Yeah. So what's the best email address you can give to people right now?
Bicmord, BICMORD 2001 at yahoo.com.
Okay. I know that one.
Mm-hmm.
Very important. Very important. People want to know how you're doing, Avi. We're in an interesting situation. History is repeating itself. Very interesting. It's almost entertaining and yet sad when a leftist liberal says, "Man, it's like Nazi Germany." They're trying to refer to the followership of Trump. Trying to make a comparison there when the very policies, some would say even verbatim, that Hitler had towards conservatives match his towards the Jews. But well, when it's when it's people who actually want to save their country and secure the borders and not be taxed to death and expose corruption and every corrupt three-letter agency there is, then there's good people in those. But hey, folks, who's steering the boat? Who's driving the bus? All of a sudden, you're labeled a Nazi when you actually want the sovereignty of your nation, and you do not want to participate in this globalist experiment. So anyway, we could talk for years about that. Support for Netanyahu in Israel by the mainstream people, not the media, but the mainstream people. Scale from 1 to 10, what would you say?
70% of the population supports Netanyahu. 20% is left, and 10% is Arab. So you can forget about the Arabs. Though there are individual Arabs who do serve in the army.
Interesting. course, if you were in America during the time, if you lived in America during the time of Obama, where he was secretly firing conservative generals and replacing them with Muslim generals, you would have seen something interesting there as well. People don't talk about the daily Islamic calls to prayer in the White House, but it's interesting though that what can happen when you put a true American into a place of position of the president. And though he is not a biblical scholar or a very religious person, he does claim Christianity and the values of Christianity. It's very, very interesting that people in America are not aware of the roles of the black robes in the forming of our Constitution. Their teachings, no king but Christ, is what they taught. Liberty and freedom. They don't realize that. They go by what their blue-haired liberal, never had a job professor usually says. Well, it has nothing to do with the Bible. Well, our civilization, the civilized world, is it not based on biblical principles?
Exactly. That's
Mosaic
why I
law.
come to the Judeo-Christian Bible Bloc Party here in Israel. I
Right.
want to bring America and Israel together with a common ideology.
Well, it's no secret and it's no wonder that God's way is the best way.
The only way.
And be it a Jew or a Christian,
Correct.
the foundational principles that make any country great. Forgot the name of the Frenchman that beheld America and said, America's great because she's godly. But I think Reagan said America is great because she's godly, but if she ever ceases to be godly, she won't be great. But there was a French writer that talked about the essence of America, and the conclusion he had was the Judeo-Christian values is what made it what it is. Unfortunately, there's a stance right now between Israel and Egypt that I am puzzled by, but the president did say, Sisi did say, we want to know why these countries who have Judeo-Christian values seem to be more prosperous and healthier and more secure. Well, he
Right.
answered his own question because it has Judeo-Christian values. And so it's very, very important, folks, that we pray for the peace of Israel, for the peace of Jerusalem. We support independent voices that are speaking the truth, not owned by the elite, but press for the people. I guess that's the appeal of your channel, Avi Lipkin on YouTube. And of course, anytime you see the title Live with Avi from Israel or As Goes Israel on GLC and its multiple platforms, or if you come across it on Faithful Stream, whatever the case is, we know that we can trust our friend Avi Lipkin right there on the ground, because as goes Israel, so goes the world. Thank you so much, Avi, for
Amen.
joining me
Thank you.
today. We love
God
you, my
bless
friend.
America. God bless America.
God bless America. God save America. God bless Israel.
Amen.
Amen.